What is imagination? Well, strictly speaking, or by the book, imagination is kind of it's creative. Imagination is where you allow yourself to kind of go beyond the workings of the mind. The mind tends to be very logical. The mind tends to be pretty regulated. The mind is really about trying to be rational about things. The mind is pretty good at remembering details. It's pretty good at making its judgments, but it's not creative at all. When imagination is brought in, it triggers the certain parts of the brain, the neocortex, the thalamus. It triggers those, but that is not where imagination originates. It doesn't begin there at all. It just happens to kind of trigger those particular parts of the brain. You can focus on the logic and the details and the mental parts of life. But in order to go beyond, in order for greatness to occur, you have to imagine. In order to stay here on the planet as a master and create the kind of life that you want. But when one stops dreaming and one stops imagining, when one retreats into the recesses of their mind and of their logic, not much happens, not much response occurs because there's no imagination, therefore there is so little light. And then the one trapped in their mental state of being and their own logic wonders, where is the light? Where is the magic? Where is Merlin? Well, it's not there because they're not consciously imagining, or at least openly imagining. Their imagination has become so limited, so narrow, and therefore their reality, their experiences are the same way. Thoughts are different than imagination. Thoughts are generally logical. They're about reasoning. They're about analytical. And thoughts can turn into beliefs, but they're generally very, very mental. There's a big difference between imagining things and thinking things. But a grand part of the mind that brings in the creative energy and applies it in this reality has been shut down. The school systems all over the world are focused on the logic. They are focused on what you would call the left brain. They are slowly but surely shutting down this part that interprets creative and imagination energy. The creative and imagination energy does not emanate from what would be called the right side of the brain, but it is used to process that information. The creative and imagination energy comes from the divine source within you. It comes from what so many of you would call the heart energy. It begins there. Let us call it the divine imagination center. It begins there, and then it moves up into the portion of your brain, again called the right brain, where it is assimilated and where its energies are funneled and then put into reality. Creative and imagination do not begin in the mind.
If you take a look at the energy of schools all over the world right now, what they're truly lacking is imagination and creativity. The schools, because of the budget problems, which are really just energy problems, they have limited the studying to the more left brain, as you would call it, the more logical or the brainier things. They have removed the creativity and the imagination from the schools. And this is why they are suffering. This, Shambra, is why there is violence in the schools and killings in the schools. This is why students are having so many emotional problems and physical problems, and then the doctors give them drugs and they don't know how to handle it. They are being deprived of something that is so very important in their lives. The ability to openly imagine, the ability to be creative without all the burden of structure.
Imagination has been so suppressed. What a mental world. I actually don't know if I could come back like Tobias did. The world has become so unimaginative, uncreative, by the book, structured, boring. And actually, you know what? Because it's actually kind of boring out there in a way, sometimes you do things to break the boredom. A little drama, a little excitement, a little chaos, a little panic. I would too. The world has gotten so mechanical and literal. It's gotten so unimaginative. You have to escape in your dreams at night to get just a little bit of imagination.